to the Citizen channel. We all stay safe and well, and what I hope will be a 14-part feature. Yes, they do take time to put together, these guys, and of course there's lots of other history vlogs knocking about. So this is a brand new one called The Boys of 99. So you can probably guess what it's about. We're just going to have a look at the careers of the boys. Not particularly going to have a look at, of course, we'll give a mention to the 99 Gillingham game. But we're just going to look at the guys themselves that were in the squad that played that day. Of course, Joe Royle's already been covered by me in various other things, and will no doubt feature in other things as well. But we're looking at that the 14 men that were part of the Gillingham game back in 1999, my lad's first Wembley trip. So this one, we're looking at Terry Cooke. So we're going to have a look at Terry Cooke, and what I'm doing this in order of appearances for City. So of course this is episode 1, and Terry Cooke is the one who made the least appearances for City over a couple of seasons. Of course he played, but he was there a bit longer, which I forgot about. You know, you forget certain things, don't you? And obviously when you start researching these things. Anyway, let's have a look at Terry Cooke. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, everything City past, present, as long as I can keep going. So I hope you enjoy this. Spread the word, guys, if you can, and press those buttons. And if you like film and TV, also you will see on the channel various stuff on film and TV as well. So if that's of any interest, most people who like football like films and TV, I'm sure you do. Have a look at my views on stuff. And if you know anyone else who might not be interested in football or City, but is interested in film and TV, give them a kick in my direction. I'd be extremely grateful. And don't forget, you can get me on my socials as well. I'll tell you about those at the end of this little vlog. Right, Terence John Cooke. He was born the 5th of August 1976. I was going to try a Birmingham accent then. Solihull. No, not very good. I'm sorry. My apologies. He began his career with United, of course, and he was initially classed. There's little pictures of him on the end of the row. Of the so-called famous class of 92, of course. They were all crap, weren't they? Okay, they were all right. They were pretty good. United were very lucky to have them, that's for sure. But he was eventually recognised in articles over the years as the missing man in that class. Not entirely his fault, as we'll see, but he did struggle to break into the United team for various reasons. United first team had loan spells with Sunderland, Birmingham City and Wrexham before moving to City in 1999. He'd done his crew shirt back in 1997, so this hadn't helped his progression, of course, at a successful club as they were then, Manchester United. He actually played against City whilst on loan with Wrexham during that 98-99 season in the Boxing Day feature. Yes, the one away where suddenly City started to improve, didn't we, after a shocking first half of the season. Of course, that was a 1-0 win, but it was a constant threat down the wing. And so impressed with City and Joe Royle that we inquired about Cooke's availability, as his Wrexham loan at that stage was coming to an end. Personally, my early thoughts of Terry Cooke were very good. Even though he'd been farmed out by United, you just see the higher level in his play of football, the football brain, which obviously we accept now in all City players who, when they go and play for the countries, sometimes the other guys aren't as good as our City players as I'm recording this, of course, during the Pep era. So he did have that, and you could see that in his play when he was playing for City. That sort of class and his footballing knowledge was far better. Okay, it did actually begin to fade, and it was noticeable as a supporter as he sort of came down to our level a little bit, which was bound to happen when you sort of playing and training with other guys that perhaps are a little bit of a level below what you were with. But I was initially impressed, and it was a rare thing for switches between City and United in those days. We never particularly liked them, not since probably passable in the 60s, but by the 70s and 80s, it's something we didn't really like, whether it's managers, a guy who used to play for United coming to manage us or whatever. It's not something we liked, but I think we were willing to give this one a chance because he looked good, and that was the thing. He came to City in January '99. As City were hitting as I said, the purple patch after Christmas and rising slowly up the division. It was believed that Terry was to stay at United after his Wrexham loan and was expected to be in Fergie's European squad that was going to be initially announced after Christmas, but he chose a 3-month loan with City, wanted to play first team football. Ferguson himself suggested, as well as on the wing, Terry could also play up the middle, though Royal would never really think about that as an option. I can't remember that happening anyway. I've seen a few match reports as well, and he was all very much on the wing. But then again, what does Fergie know about players? Not a lot. What happened to him? He made his debut on the 16th of January at Main Road in a 3-0 win over Fulham. He wore the number 11 shirt and didn't miss a starting lineup for the rest of the season. And just as a matter of interest, as I do with these things, the City lineup in his debut game: Weaver, Edgill, Horlock, Vikings, Vaughan, Pollock, Golter, Brown, Crooks, Taylor and Cooke himself. And Jim Whitley came on in that game, and Dickoff and Bishop, who we'll talk a little bit more as well about later in this or in part 2 as well. Bishop was an unused substitute. City scorers that day were Golter, Taylor and Horlock. Terry commented after his debut that he was delighted. He compared playing in front of the City fans favourably to playing at United, obviously. He said it was absolutely unbelievable. The crowd was amazing. He added it really was totally different to Old Trafford. They were munching on the prawn sandwiches, weren't they? They're totally different to Old Trafford, where a lot of fans expect to win and just sit back and enjoy the game. Main Road is packed with fanatics, it was, or lunatics, whichever way you look at it, and they can make such a difference when they get behind you. There's no way you want to lose. Well, it did occasionally. Cooke got his first City goal in a 3-0 mauling of Millwall on February 6th. Nice relations between City and Millwall in those days. Not all Millwall's fault. I mean, we can only sort of stick up for ourselves, can't we? It was the second, and there was just there's an element of luck about it, but it was no less than he deserved. His cross became a sort of shot and eluded Millwall keeper Spink at the time and dropped inside the net at the far post. Dickoff and Horlock scored the other 2 in that 3-0 win. On March the 6th, Ferguson was actually in the stands at Main Road, yes, to watch Terry Cooke. There's 0-0 draw with Northampton he was watching. I bet that thrilled him. He was there to run his eye over Terry Cooke's progression, and there was a real possibility that a revised contract was going to be on the table at United for him, but Terry was enjoying his football at Main Road. He turned provider in a 6-0 hammering of Burnley at Turf Moor on March the 9th. On 16 minutes, Cooke provided a sumptuous cross from the right to the back post where Horlock welded it home to make it 1-0. On 41 minutes, Morrison headed home a Cooke corner for 2-0, and he had a hat-trick of assists when he crossed for Golter to score to make it 5-0. Michael Brown's flying header was from a Cooke cross to put City 1-up against Notts County at home on March the 16th, and it was Terry himself who put City 2-0 up 4 minutes before half-time. Horlock found him in acres of space on the right, and he powered into the box and cracked a low drive past the county keeper. It was Ward, the keeper at the time. He should have had a second, but headed a Horlock cross wide with the goal wide open. But City hung on for a 2-1 win as County tried but failed to get back in it. In a tight 1-0 win at Colchester on March the 20th, Terry's clever flick through to Golter resulted in Golter blasting home the only goal of the game. On March the 27th at the Majeski Stadium, Cooke made it 1-0 against Reading after 31 minutes with a spectacular free kick from 30 yards that flew over and around Reading's wall. And he made it 3-0 from another free kick in the second half, this time a nicely placed side foot effort. Journalists at the time asked him about his free kicks, and he confirmed that at United he practised away from David Beckham. He said, "I just don't want to look stupid alongside him." I think bend it like Terry Cooke had a better ring about it, don't you? Cooke scored the only goal against fellow playoff hopefuls Wigan at Main Road on April the 3rd. In an attempt not to handle outside the box, Carroll, the keeper, dropped the ball and Terry said thank you very much and slotted home the only goal of the game from the narrowest of angles, opportunism at its best. Cooke was at his height of his popularity with the fans, but Royal was non-committal on being able to make this move permanent. He said, "We'd like to sign him, but there are a number of factors which are just beyond my control." There was a regular chant. We weren't very bright on the singing of songs in those days. All very basic, not like we are now, where we try and be a bit more modern in what we do. But of course, if you were there, you'll remember it. We want Terry Cooke. Say, we want Terry Cooke. I mean, that was the song. Simple as that. Simple words, simple vibe. And the fans were clear as to what we wanted. Yeah, we were very impressed. And what was expected to be his last home game, he soaked up the applause after the game against Luton on the 14th of April. He had a secret, though, the fans didn't know about, he said later. He just had to agree personal terms, which he said were a formality, but he knew he was going to sign properly for City, but he had to keep it quiet for a couple of more days. By the time Terry lined up away at Gillingham on April the 17th, not only was he a new dad, but he was now officially a City player. His loan had been due to run out after the trip to the Gills for a fee of $1 million. But it was pay a bit now, pay a bit later. It was $600,000 now. And $400,000 depending on appearances. This would cause a bit of controversy later, but we'll get to that. And he had a 3-year contract in his back pocket. His left foot volley from the edge of a packed box gave City a 31st minute lead at Gillingham. His celebration, yep, as you'd imagine, he imitated cradling a baby as he ran back to the centre of the pitch. Horlock added a second to confirm the 3 points. As a matter of interest, Terry was the first player to move across Manchester since John Gidman in 1987. Remember him? Joe Roll was impressed also by the fact that Terry had apparently suffered from a few sleepless nights before the game, as his girlfriend didn't have the easiest time leading up to the birth of the baby. As City's hopes of automatic promotion faded, he scored in the penultimate game of the normal league season, a 2-2 draw at Bristol Rovers. On 26 minutes, a Cooke volley was stabbed home by Gosa, and just before half-time, another Cooke curling free kick headed into the top corner from 25 yards and had given City a 2-0 half-time lead. Rovers though scored 2 late goals to share the spoils. And in the final league game of the season, a 4-0 win at Main Road over York, his quickly taken free kick letting Jeff Whitley to make it 3-0 for City. And it was off into the playoffs and into the playoff final itself. So join me, guys, in part 2 as Terry finished the 98-99 season on a high, as did we all, of course. But of course, things are following season will soon start to unravel for Terry Cooke and his stay at City, or at least his first team appearances for City. There you go, guys. Let me know any memories you've got. Join me, as I said, in part 2. It'd be great to have you on board. Please spread the word. Hope you enjoyed this little special on Terry Cooke, and don't forget to join me in that part 2. Please, on my socials, I do lots of things on City and football, of course, in general. I'm doing this as the Euros are on, so it might be a long time ago if you listen to this, but so yeah, follow me on there. I'm on X and TikTok at the same address, at Bernard_Deneen, and of course I post stuff on film and TV as well if that's an interest. You can, of course, if you're interested in supporting the channel, I'm always after guys to support or sponsor the channel in any way you can, as an individual or part of an organisation. Just message me through this YouTube channel or the socials. Get me on Facebook as well at Bernard Deneen, or you can send me an email, guys, and we can have a chat. So if you want to have a go at that and help me out going forward, it'd be much appreciated. Hope to hear from you soon, but more importantly, let me know what you remember about Terry Cooke. As I said, join me for part 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Until we meet again, well, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues, and everyone else. Come on, City. Bye for now.